so many people, like, they hear that you're a musician or an artist or work in the music industry, right? And they're like, oh man, I'd love to be an artist, I'd love to be a musician, I'm considering it. And I'm like, if you're considering it, like, I don't know if you're cut out for it, because there's a lot of rejection. It's a stinking hard industry, and like,
Really hard.
to some degree, like the way you're speaking and the way I definitely relate to is the fact that, like, there was no other option. This is what I have to do because this is who I am. And like, for a while I was making no money, and I give my wife a lot of credit. She's a nurse, so she always had a stable job. So like, for me to
Yeah.
make no money while she's making a really serious income was really hard on the relationship for a while,
Oh,
and
I believe it.
I give her a lot of credit. And I would always say, like, look, if we can't eat tomorrow, like, I'll go get another job. Like, I'll work at Starbucks or whatever. I don't have a plan B. Like, this has to work, and to some degree,
Yeah.
the way you're speaking is like, whether it be with Duro or somebody else, like, you were like, I'm gonna make this work, and it ended up being with Duro.
Well, I
But
only had 1 year.
yeah,
So if you're Canadian, you graduate from an American school, they certainly with Full Sail, they got me a 1 year temporary visa, like an intern visa that would allow me to go take an internship and essentially continue my studies, but in the real world, in a company or
yeah.
under having a real job. And so that told me I had 1 year to figure things out in order to get the next visa. Now I'm on a green card, but I ended up having one, two, three, four. My green card was my fifth visa.
Yeah.
So that whole process was like, I mean, you don't get an O1 visa unless you have enough accolades or credits or whatever to warrant it. Yeah, it was a challenge. It was a
Yeah, and
challenge.
it's very, very interesting that you say it like that, because to some degree, in a lot of people's success stories, you almost hear like this oppositional, like, timeline force where it's like, I had to make this happen by blank or else it didn't work. That almost, that like, there's no other option. This is like, you're going back home if this isn't the case, creates that like drive under you to some degree where people are like, oh, I'll write my new song next week.
Yeah.
That never gets done, and it's a
No,
very
my
interesting
first week
dynamic.
with Duro, I think I did 130 hours, 134 hours in the studio, which I remember my first day was a full 24-hour day. So I get to the studio and I'm there literally until 10 a.m. the next morning. And then Duro said, all right, go home and get some sleep. And then we had a block of sessions coming up with True Life and Polo the Dawn. That was my first week of sessions. My first day, by the way, was Fabulous and Styles P, who did the remix to Mariah Carey, and DJ Clue was there. DJ Clue did a remix to, I think, We Belong Together or Don't Forget About Us. I think it was We Belong Together. It was when like Emancipation Mimi came out, huge album. So my first day, I like meet Fabulous and Styles P. So I was like in Clue, like I was that you couldn't get me out of this. You couldn't drag me out of
Mm.
that. And then the next day was True Life and Polo the Dawn. This new producer Polo the Dawn, who went on to become this like incredible like hit maker. And yeah, my first day with them was a 32-hour day, 30-hour day, something like that, like straight, no sleep, no nothing. Go home, shower, sleep for 6 hours, wake up, do it again, another 32-hour day. I'd have to take little naps in the back room for 20 minutes, and then someone would bang on the door and say, hey, we need you to go get us dinner or lunch or food or whatever it was. But I was so excited to be there. Like, I didn't care. I would have lived, I would have done everything in that studio. I didn't
So
need.
intern as in like whatever we need you to do, intern, or intern as
Oh
in
yeah, whatever. I was mostly cleaning, vacuuming, fetching food, but it was a small studio. There was Duro, his assistant, and me. And so I would assist the assistant as much as needed. So if we're doing a vocal setup or whatever, like, all right, help go grab the mic and set up the mic. And, I would do little things like that. But for the most part, I was sort of in the lounge waiting on people, scrubbing the walls, cleaning the bathroom, like, making sure cutlery was clean and
yeah.
things were stocked and the garbage was taken out and all that stuff.